Hello everyone. We're doing a kind of an end of the month client video this month because there's been a bunch of crazy things going on in the market, and just thought I'd address those. And I think probably the best thing to do is go back to basics. There's an old story about Vince Lombardi where every year when he showed up for camp and all these seasoned professionals were there among rookies, one of the first things he did was he walked up to the front of the room and he held up a football and he said, "Gentlemen, this is a football." And that's really getting back to the basics. But I know we're in front of my board, everyone's seen my board, and want to refresh your memory on a few things. Remember our main formula for investing. Total return equals income plus growth. So our total return is the income we get from our dividends and interest and the growth we get from those things like equities that we're in to grow our money, and in addition to getting income. Then we look at our risk pyramid, and we've got our portfolios. Every one of us has gone through this when you became a client, where we looked at our safe money alternatives, our moderate risk money alternatives, and our risk money alternatives. And then we apply the rule of 100, which is generally applied. It's not specific to everyone, but it says that if you're 65, you ought to have 65% in these lower two areas, and then the rest up here. And that way you've got a good balance in your portfolio. So the issue that a lot of people are having right now is, outside of y'all, is they're looking at the old 4% rule of withdrawals. And so they're invested primarily in the G. They're not invested in the I, because most of them are in mutual funds, and mutual funds really weren't created to generate income. So they're having to take out that safe 4%, which is not so safe anymore, and a lot of people have seen it, because when you're selling shares to generate income for your required minimum distributions or just general income, or those withdrawals you need from time to time to cover those expenses foreseen and unforeseen. So when we look at that, it's important that we get our income from the I, not the G. All right? And so now they've reduced that 4% to 3.3, because with the volatility in the market the way it is, those numbers don't work. Things are different now, okay? So when we look at the way we're invested, and I know these market turbulent times really create stress for a lot of people, but that's why I want to get back to basics and really discuss what is important. What's important is that our investment plan is purpose-based and not performance-based. Because if it's purpose-based, we know what the money's for, we know where it is and what it's doing. And when you look at how the markets fluctuate, our primary portfolio, income portfolio, is there to generate the I, generate the income, dividends and interest. When you talk to a farmer, which is probably a really good analogy to look at it this way. When you look at a farmer, what he's interested in is his crop yield. The value of his land is not so important as long as his crop yield is good, because he knows even though that land valuation may fluctuate from time to time, if he's getting the crop yield that he needs out of it, that's what's important to him. And that's why this formula is so important, and investing for the I and not the G as we get older is very, very critical. One of my cohorts in my study group coined a phrase that I think is really good. You've probably heard it at the seminar if you came to be a client from a seminar, is that if you want a retirement that's stress-free, invest for the I and not for the G. And that's what our focus is. So that's why I want to get back to basics, because even in our equity portfolio, where we're looking at high yield or high dividend blue chip stocks, when we look at historically, having high dividends even in an equity can reduce your risk and increase your return. And one reason is when the markets go down, those dividends keep coming in and we're buying shares at a discount. And the same is true in our income portfolio. So I think that's really important. And that's why I wanted to make this video right now, because things are crazy. Market's like a roller coaster, up, down. Up, down, up, down. You never know what's going to happen. It's a surprise at the end of the day. There's a lot of changes going on because of inflation. The Fed's trying to squeeze inflation out. Got a long way to go because we've created so much debt. So that's really important to look at what is our purpose. And our purpose is ultimately to generate income. All right? If you've got consistent dividends, that's the important part. So just remember that as we get together and do our reviews and go over things and we talk on the phone, just remember our purpose is investing for the I and not for the G. Okay? Even though we've got G in there, we want to focus on the I. Now, when we look at the G, one of the opportunities that market downturns present is Roth conversions. So we may want to look in your particular situation. This is something that's, individualized. Is it maybe it's a good time to convert some of these IRAs, traditional IRAs, to Roths? We can look at the tax situation through my software and determine. I've got several clients we're doing that with now because that was their focus. They wanted to do that. And could be a good opportunity to do that conversion when the market's down. Roth conversions may not make sense for you. That's something we'd have to discuss on an individual basis. So I hope all that helps. Want to add something else too, is that I know most of you know I do a weekly radio show. We are going to start taking that radio show and putting a link in an email and sending it to you every week when Bonnie lists it on the website. You can either go to AskBradShow.com or wait for our email list to it at your leisure, at whatever topic interests you. But we're just trying to get more information out to you and really just keep you better informed. So I hope this helps. Got any questions? Always give me a call, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you soon. Thank you.